Hello, everyone. We are waiting for people to join. My name is Ülane. I'm from the e-Residency team. I'm the head of business development, and I am happy to host this minutes to see who joins. And I would encourage you to say in the webinar chat who you are and where you are from. It would be great to see who we have joining here today. Hi, Arjun. Greetings to India. Oh, we have some people joining from Germany, even Estonia. Oh, as far as Canada. Hello to Italy. All right. So 106 people, 108 people online already. And let's hold on a few more minutes. And a very international crowd today. Oxford, UK. I am not too far. I'm in Glasgow. Oh, we have some people joining from Sri Lanka and Turkey and Finland. Very nice to see neighbors over here. Ohio. Cool. I spent some time in Cincinnati when I was younger, so greetings to Ohio. Georgia, I see some familiar names even. It's awesome. All right. See, still some people joining. So we have probably the right time to start. Like I said, to the ones that joined earlier, my name is Ülane, and I work for the residency program. But I am also an ex-founder myself, having tried my hand in building a travel startup. I will be the host today, and I will ask you to post your questions to the Q&A tab of this webinar instead of the chat. You can use the chat. You can keep using the chat to connect to each other, to say hi to other participants, and maybe make even potential friends or co-founders there. Greetings to Colombia. Wow, that is far away. All right. Cool. Let's start. Today is our March live Q&A, and we do a live webinar every month. This month, our focus is on startup growth and funding opportunities. And I'm here doing this webinar today with three other awesome people speaking live. Now we have Salesforge founder joining us. We have the head of Tehnopol Startup Incubator, Anne-Liisa, joining us, sharing their programs. Uwe Bohm from Tenity, FinTech Accelerator. And we are going to hear very soon what each of those people have to say about the opportunities in Estonia. All right. Once more, this webinar is going to be a little bit less about e-residency than it normally is, and a little bit more about other things. So we are going to talk about the Estonian startup ecosystem, just the general things, and we are going to briefly touch on what e-residency is as well, and how you can benefit from being an e-resident, and maybe also potentially getting a startup visa to come to Estonia physically. Then we're going to hear from a great example of a foreign founder, Frank from Salesforge. And what's remarkable about Frank is that by being a complete outsider, being a foreign founder in Estonia, he managed to make his way to the Estonian Startup Awards this year and was awarded as the Newcomer of the Year 2025. And then we're going to hear from both of the accelerators joining us. Some housekeeping rules, guys. First of all, again, because some people have just joined us, when you have a question to any of the speakers, to me, to Startup Estonia about the startup visa, to one of the accelerators, or to Frank as a founder, then please post these questions to the Q&A tab on Zoom. We are only going to answer the questions that are posted to the Q&A tab. Use the chat to say hi, to make friends, but not to ask us questions. And if we see that you are posting questions to the Q&A, I will to the chat, I will again remind you that we are only answering them in the Q&A tab. But let's dive right up and startup scene today. And having been a founder myself, having tried all of these things out, I really can say that the Estonian startup scene is one of the most welcoming, one of the most collaborative and supportive ecosystems in the world. We are 1 million people, and despite the fact that we are so small, we have somehow managed to build 10 unicorns, so 10 companies that are valued at more than 1 billion. This is higher per capita than anywhere else in the world. Startups are really important to Estonia, and that's why we have some really useful legislative things like startup visa and scale-up visa that are meant both for welcoming foreign founders to Estonia as well as helping startups attract talent. We also have a digital nomad visa for those that want to spend temporary time here. Estonia's legislation, it has taken into account a lot of the things that growing companies need. For example, when you have a startup, then obviously you want to motivate your early team to contribute all their 24 hours in a day to the startup. And we have a very good employee stock option legislation and a tax break. We have flexible labor laws. And like I already said, the community here is very supportive of also not only Estonian founders, but foreign founders. 38% of all the Estonian startups that are in Estonian startup database have something to do with foreign founders or e-residents. So that's over 1/3 of companies that are totally international. And all of you here, you are able to access this ecosystem easily if you become an e-resident and have a company in Estonia. This is a great map of our ecosystem here, and we have over 160 organizations that support startups in one way or another, ranging from just helping people to pick up this startup mindset and generate great ideas, all the way to scaling up. So different organizations help you do different things, and this is a great map of all of it in one place. Why become an e-resident? One of the main things that is a big plus for e-residency for startups is that Estonian legislation is named very investor friendly. We actually kind of even jokingly could say that it's the Delaware of Europe, because Europe tends to be a little bit more regulated and a little bit more red tape than, for example, the US. However, a lot of investors across Europe, from my own experience, I can say, have recommended Estonia as the place where foreign founders could set up to be investor friendly. E-residency also allows you to manage your company fully online. So this is definitely great for a founder that goes from a conference to a conference, trying to fundraise, meeting your potential clients across the world. So definitely a more convenient way to manage your business. You will have a digital identity, which allows you to sign documents digitally. And I just cannot imagine why somebody would run a business in Estonia while not having this digital identity and digital signature that you can use for taking your business transactions fully online. You can run your business 24/7 and also tap into the ecosystem of Estonian startup community. So just a reminder to those that are new in our Q&A, what is e-residency? E-Residency is an Estonian digital identity that allows you to access our public services. What this essentially means for foreigners is that you are able to mainly use our business services, such as the business registry, the tax board, by logging in and authenticating yourself as an individual, be it for starting a company or managing one, or signing documents with your secure digital signature. We have currently 122,000 e-residents from 180 countries in the world, and it is a really global community to make friends and contacts in. However, e-residency is not a lot of things also. It's not a travel document, or it's definitely not a citizenship to Estonia, a visa, or a residency permit. So by having e-residency, you're not able to change your status as a person in any way. You don't automatically become a tax resident of Estonia, and by no means it helps you to automatically get a business or a personal bank account in Estonia. So you have to understand that the residency is an ID that is given to individuals to be able to use our services. Just a quick note on the timeline. E-residency applications are online. You apply for the document on our police and border guard site. It takes roughly 20-30 minutes to fill out the application, and you pay the state fee of 150 euros. Then you wait for the approval while your background is being checked. We do consider trust a really important aspect of our business environment. So everybody's background is checked. And once the card is approved, then you are notified by the pickup location that you chose. Usually that is an embassy of Estonia. And where we don't have embassies, there are sometimes consular missions that issue cards every couple of months. Estonian ID also secure that you have to give your fingerprints, and your real identity is being checked. And once you have the digital identity of Estonia, then registering a company is literally a 15-minute affair online. And you can do this from your home. And while the whole process maybe takes a bit of time because the document travels to you, then once you have it, everything will be very, very quick. I already mentioned the startup visa scheme, and startup visa is a great add-on or a combination with e-residency. So e-residency allows you to not come to Estonia and run a business in Estonia, and startup visa does the opposite. So it allows you to come physically here and spend some time in this community and get the advice of those players here in the ecosystem. So startup visa is for both founders and employees of a company to relocate to Estonia. The condition is that your startup should be eligible and it should be approved by a committee. So for Estonians, a startup is not just any starting company. It is a startup based on technology. So it has to be innovative, and also it has to have a repeatable and scalable business model. So definitely services and things that don't scale very easily are not accepted. It has to have a fast global growth potential, and at least an MVP already existing. So you can't apply for the startup visa if you just have an idea for a startup. You need to at least have an MVP. And who is the startup committee then? It is an expert committee that has 7 different organizations and the representatives looking at those applications, evaluating whether they really do fit into our definition of a startup. And this is also to be sure that the companies that are coming here and want to relocate here are in accordance with the country's priorities in terms of business and technology. Like I said, I always joke that don't take it just from me. because I get paid to promote the e-Residency, but take it from those that actually have attested to my words. So here is a Estonian VC fund, Karma VC, that actually says the same thing, that when they have foreign founders raising funding from them, then they recommend Estonia as one of the investor-friendly jurisdictions to consider for their startups. But I will now give the word to Frank. And Frank is a Latvian e-resident, and he has founded a company with his co-founders who are Lithuanian, if I'm not mistaken. And they have their company registered in Estonia through e-Residency program. Frank, first of all, would be great to hear what Salesforge is as well for those that are listening. So,
sure. So, hey guys, my name is Frank Sondors. I've been in sales for well over a decade and spent good amount of time just in frontline sales, selling some sort of typically software. Started my career at Google, etc. And my last job I was a VP sales for a sales team of 50. Before I decided to start a company called Salesforge. So not the Force, it's the Forge. We call ourselves the next Pipedrive in the sales execution space. So Pipedrive is another cool Estonian company in the CRM space. You may know them. We're just the next one, just in a very much an adjacent space. So what the Salesforce does, it helps companies in B2B to acquire new customers through an outbound sales motion, where essentially we blend what we call humans. So you may be a founder, a sales team, or whatever, together with AI agents, so which are fully autonomous agents that can execute campaigns, or what we call sequences, and essentially book meetings for you for your business. That's what we do. The goal is to maximize output, with an output and minimize cost, or what we typically say, making you leaner and meaner. So what you can see also in places like US, for example, in the Bay Area, you can see startups becoming significantly leaner and meaner because they're essentially able to achieve much, much higher output levels, whether that's due to LLMs or due to, so LLMs meaning large language models, or due to AI agents, whatever, so essentially you're able to do a lot more automation with very little headcount. So that's what we do. We've been doing this for now about 20 months or something, so we're still quite fresh. In the first year, we scaled from $0 to $3 million in ARR. And we scaled from 3 co-founders from incorporating in Estonia back in June 2023. So from about 3 co-founders to over 40 people in the business. Doing pretty well. And we essentially operate one of the largest AI agent companies in the world right now. I do make a joke with other Estonian sort of e-residents or founders that there are probably more AI agents in Estonia than actually the population of Estonia. So that also may be the case. That's a bit about me. So if you're gonna have any questions,
So Frank, you are contributing to the number of those additional AI Estonians. But would be great to hear a few words about how you ended up in Estonia, how you chose Estonia as the basis for your startup, and what kind of welcome have you had here?
So I think back in the days, just for anybody to be aware, naturally, when you are about to start a company, you typically try to figure out the best location where to incorporate. So typically, top of mind that should be on top of mind is Estonia. That's option 1. Option 2 in our minds was UK, and option 3 was the US. But by far, there's multiple advantages of essentially being based in Estonia. So one of them, for example, naturally, is that you can operate literally your business pretty much from anywhere in the world. That's a huge advantage, because when you're starting a company, you don't want to be thinking about the operational components of, or kind of going to some sort of, registry center, whatever, whatever you need to do. Like, you don't have to go into some sort of, government building to do your paperwork. That is very, very important, because it allows you to kind of run flexibly your business literally online. Naturally, the second kind of aspect of when we're thinking about, when we scale this business, and especially being a profitable business since day 0, even though we did raise $500,000, is what is this tax system, right? So is the tax system favorable to startups, right? So that's something that you think back of your mind. What's the tax system in other parts of the world, etc., and then whether you will be able to benefit as a startup, right, being in Estonia. Then the other kind of thought process that we had is okay, so we are an AI company, and what is the situation when it comes from an investor standpoint? Are there enough investors in Estonia that would invest into our business? And the answer was yes, because we have multiple Estonian investors in our business. So the answer is yes. You can also raise money if necessary. Though, as I said, we are profitable. We did raise money, but we didn't manage to spend it, which is unfortunate. So that's from one aspect. The other, which is beautiful thing, is in other parts of the world. Well, the non-English speaking parts of the world is you may need to sign documents in multiple different languages, whereas in Estonia, everything is in English. That was a must-have in our business. So we have over 40 employees right now. We have over 20 nationalities. And sort of what we call the lingua franca is the English language, right? So that means when we are doing any form of communication with that country, being Estonia, it was paramount for us to ensure that we're doing business in English at all times, right? So instead of kind of translating documents and all that stuff, right? So you have to, that frictionless experience for anybody apart from me, my operations manager, anybody else, it has to be there in the first place. And of course, then there's other sort of support systems and places you can attend. So, for example, as part of a sort of support community, we're also part of what's called the Estonian Founders Society, as well as an e-resident. We been nominated as the #1 e-residency company of the year last year as well, because we're doing so well. But also you have the ability naturally to connect with other e-residents and Estonian founders during the #1 conference during the year, which is Latitude 59. So we typically fly in, and we're going to be there also this year. We were there last year. Last year we were presenting ourselves on the stage and what was our journey, why we're building this, what was the initial pain. And this year we're going to talk about how we scaled, right? So how we scaled from 0 to $3 million. If you're wondering about the story, there's a cool video on my LinkedIn profile. So if you just want to go on there, there's literally a podcast where I talk about the pains and what we went through. But yeah, in my mind, when I was like thinking about myself, UK, US, or Estonia, definitely Estonia is the #1 country in the world, and I keep on telling that to everybody. A lot of people are skeptical about Estonia because it's this tiny country in Europe, and a lot of folks don't know about Estonia in other parts of the world. So they're always looking for this sort of reaffirmation, sort of that this is really a good place, right? To incorporate. I can definitely tell you with 110% confidence, essentially, that this is the place to incorporate and really run your startup, and that ease of that experience, that you don't feel like there's a huge hurdle is really the main reason why you will want to incorporate there. It's much better than UK or US, trust me. I even had my fellow founder in a similar space. He's also scaling like crazy, and he literally switched from Delaware, US to Estonia, because Estonia by far you have much better sort of preferential treatment for startups, especially if you are a profitable business. So there's difference actually if you're burning cash or not burning cash, but if you are a profitable business, you're much better off to be incorporating in Estonia than say US. So there's a bunch of kind of different points you can definitely read about online, and there's a lot of good points on why Estonia is the #1 place. But yeah, we're not looking to switch. We just like Pipedrive, which is going to be there around for years and years and decades and decades. And so interesting enough, we do hire people from all different parts of the world. Literally, we have employees in Europe, Japan, etc. And we literally only have one person in Estonia that we managed to hire, which is a head of product. His name is Indrek. So that's also important. How do you actually run the company, considering you may have employees all around the world? So, yeah.
Well, Frank, question time. I think one of those questions here in the Q&A tab was very relevant to you. So there's somebody here that is asking that, even though he is from Canada, he would like to understand what is the benefit of being an e-resident if you're already a European when you're located in Europe. Or maybe you could summarize in a few points.
So anywhere where you go in Europe, you will have to do typically incorporation and a bunch of other documents in another language. So that's already like a huge hurdle. That's one thing. Another thing is the tax system. In multiple places in Europe, you have these, tax systems that where it will not necessarily put you at an advantageous position. You also have to think about other components. You got to read more on the taxation just generally as one of the kind of core things. And yeah, it's definitely the support system, right? So That's another thing. It's kind of there's a bunch of kind of different things that kind of I could talk about. But essentially, when you would do analysis on any other country in Europe, you will realize that really Estonia is the outlier as a country. You can also read like data, kind of what is the how let's call it sophisticated are Estonians on per capita basis, whatever. You can read a lot of kind of different reports. Just kind of gives you that good sense of feeling that this is a country that is full on online country that is trying to do everything that's best in class in the world. For example, OpenAI is working, for example, right now with Estonian schools. That's unheard of. OpenAI working with this tiny country in the world. So it's things like that that gives you that comfort that this is a country where you're not gonna have a bunch of issues essentially. Whereas you go somewhere more west, for example, you're gonna go to like country like Germany or France, you're gonna face huge levels of bureaucracy, huge levels of bureaucracy. It will kill your sort of excitement about doing a startup, right? So that's
Startups.
well, you have to really think about the operational burden. You have to kind of think about how do you kill the operational burden of running your startup, and so that's how I look at it, right? So where will I have the least burden? Where will I need to spend the least amount of time doing a bunch of paperwork, a bunch of kind of gazillions of things that you have to, the admin stuff, right? A lot of people hate the admin stuff. And essentially, you're gonna get the least amount of admin stuff in Estonia. That's like for me, it's very important because I'm the guy that's full on efficiency. I want to automate everything through automations, whatever Zapier, whatever you name it. And you can't do that in places like Germany, etc. Even though like huge economies, etc. But the thing why Estonia just works is because it's a nimble economy, essentially, a 1 million population. That means when it comes to implementing any like new tech, etc., it's super easy to do that. And that's the benefit to you, essentially, as an e-resident, right? Because things just going to go faster, smooth, or whatever. Soon, probably the government will implement, AI agents, whatever, you name it. It's things like that to kind of look forward to that big countries like Germany, France will never be able to implement it in decades even. So, so just trying to predict also where Estonia will be like in 5-10 years time versus other countries that just move very, very, very painfully slow. And Estonia just moves very, very fast. So it's kind of, when you're a VC, are you more excited in a startup just moves very fast and there's progress and there's momentum and everything? Or, another startup which barely grows, barely moves.
Right.
You are definitely more excited about Estonian than any other country out there.
Awesome. Thank you, Frank, for your inputs. I think there's one question on the Q&A that you can go and answer in a written form. I think it's about your product, but we're going to move on. We're going to move on to Tenity. And I'm happy to introduce Uwe. And Uwe not only is the head of operations at a fintech accelerator called Tenity Nordics, but he is also running another program welcoming foreign founders to Estonia called Emerge Estonia. So I'm going to have Uwe take over and introduce what Tenity does and what kind of startups are welcome to their programs.
Thank you, Ülane. Greetings to everyone on behalf of Tenity Ventures. And yes, so I'm, how should I say, I'm a big fan of the residency program. I've kept an eye on the program since it was created. I'm a native of Estonia myself, and the idea has always kind of seemed inspiring to do exactly what Frank has been saying, to help entrepreneurs start and grow their businesses with minimal hassle. And also, as Frank says, like Estonia isn't done innovating around that. So on the one hand, we've done a great job in terms of the legal infrastructure and the digital infrastructure that allows you to manage your companies remotely and mostly in English for that matter. But there is more to be accomplished across both fronts, and there is also kind of the general transparent business environment that Estonia offers. So you come here, it's small, it's compact, you get to know people quite easily. So as far as starting a company goes, there is more than just the relief of admin that Estonia can offer. There is also the community support, and the e-residency program embodies that. So very happy to be working with the e-residency program and foreign founders as part of our Emerge Estonia support program as well. Now, what Tenity is and does is that we have 6 hubs around the world, and we are primarily focused in the financial services domain, but we support companies outside of fintech and financial services as well. We are headquartered in Zurich. We are in fact a spin out from the Swiss Stock Exchange 6, and we got founded basically 10 years ago as the innovation department of 6. But then the confines of that institution were a little bit limiting to what the organization could be. So our CEO and founder, Andreas Iten, he kind of spun it out into a separate organization. And maybe it's worth pointing out that the Swiss Stock Exchange is more than just a place where you kind of trade stocks and bonds. It's providing digital infrastructure for the Swiss financial markets. It's providing open banking, carbon credit tracking for consumers. So it does a lot of things in terms of fintech and financial innovation in Switzerland as well. And since it took off so well in Zurich, then soon enough the organization started to expand. So first a hub in Singapore was set up that is quite lively and alive and kicking these days, offering essentially support programs for companies that are either within Singapore and Southeast Asia, or also helping European companies and North American companies enter the Southeast Asian markets. And then Tallinn was set up. Then there was an acquisition with a Turkish and British company called Headquarters. And then there is also a hub we have in Madrid. So we are now operating in 6 locations, and that number of locations is growing. And the general idea is that we offer, on the one hand, venture finance or venture capital for early stage companies in the financial services domain. And then on the other hand, we also offer programs for governments, for corporates. So we support them in finding product market fit, in fundraising, and in entering new markets. So the history I basically already covered. So step by step we have been growing the business, and this work continues in 2025 as well. And in terms of the types of partners that we work with, so 6 is the Swiss Stock Exchange. That's one of our sort of shareholding companies, but we also work with UBS and Ripple, and then we run the support programs for any number of other companies in the financial services domain. So this gives you a good idea of the types of partners that we have. And then if we move on to the next slide, then this is a quick overview of the most notable investments we have made, mainly from the previous fund that we have. We run the fund of the Swiss Stock Exchange itself, and there is an exit there, Yokoi. It's a Swiss expense management tool that was sold to TravelPerk. And then Key Rock is a liquidity provider for cryptocurrency platforms. Doconomy is a climate fintech that helps with carbon offset calculations for consumers. And there are a number of other companies. So this is from the previous fund, and now with the early stage fund, we have been investing out of that for 1.5 years. And let's say that the diamonds are still in the making, but we are fairly confident that the vintages we are working with right now, they're forged in very difficult circumstances, because raising money is hard, and the companies that kind of punch through, we have a lot of faith in them. So moving on, as far as funding goes, then Tenity, the funding that we offer is connected to a growth program as well. And the one that we run out of Tallinn is called the New Nordic Challengers. So this is a program that we run in partnership with Copenhagen FinTech. And the applications for the program are being accepted on an ongoing basis. So the QR code, you can either take a shot of it now, or you will get it in your mailbox with the slides. So the QR code will lead you to the link where you can submit your application and obviously find out more about the application or the program itself as well. But the general idea is, if we move to the next slide, is that we invest anywhere between 50,000 to 300,000 euros, depends on the kind of stage, but overall it's a pre-seed seed stage fund. And we, as a fund, the investment decisions, we focus on financial services. So it can be a clean-cut fintech that is dealing with, let's say, payments or lending, but it can also be technology that is relevant for the financial services industry. So cybersecurity, reg tech, legal tech solutions, prop tech, for example, especially if it pertains to asset managers and real estate as an asset class. So these are the flavors of startups that we back. And the interesting thing about Tenity is exactly that we are not just a venture capital fund. We also have this financial innovation ecosystem on the side, and there are synergies between the two of them, right? So the companies that are brought into the support programs that we offer and that we invest in, we obviously have every interest to put these companies in touch with the financial institutions that we are working with. And this is a great way for early stage startups to validate their solutions, and for slightly later stage startups to actually start commercial relations with these organizations as well. So yeah, they're attached to this growth program, and every company that we invest in, we want them to go through that as well, because this is our thesis. This is how we add value. In short, this is it as far as my presentation goes, but I'm happy to take a few questions if there is anything in the Q&A right now.
Actually, there's a question that was already answered by Katrina somewhat, but there's somebody seeming to be building a fintech here that's asking about if they want to open an authorized payment institution, is the minimum share capital exactly the amount indicated in the Estonian institutions? Or it could be higher, for example, because Estonian institutions require more capital than indicated for financial institutions. So this person is talking about building a money transfer company in his follow-up comment. So do you know what additional requirements are there for somebody who is looking to build a licensed money transfer company, essentially?
So I mean, in short, the capital requirements, they're defined in the law. So, if you have more than that, great, it will add credibility, but there is no critical need for that. What I would say, what's super important as far as founding a regulated business in Estonia is concerned, is that the regulator, the FSA, really expects you to have substance in Estonia. So that includes a director or two, preferably. So a certain sort of critical mass of the team should be here, and the FSA also expects you to service the Estonian market. You are very welcome to passport the license for operations in other EU markets as well, but these two requirements are kind of hard requirements, and there are also obvious requirements around the source of capital, that it should be transparent, and the funding should be clean. There is quite a lot of scrutiny there as well.
And I think there's another one for you. InsurTech is also one of the kind of the sub categories of what you guys could potentially work with, or not.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it absolutely falls in the financial services domain.
All right.
So if you're an
Cool.
InsurTech,
Let me see. There's another one.
Yeah, if you're
Go
an
ahead.
InsurTech company or any other company who is raising funds in kind of the broader sense of financial services, then just hit me up on LinkedIn, and we can take it from there.
Let's answer another one live from here. Uwe, how do you value an MVP? For example, how do you determine equity share that you would request? Thanks in advance.
I mean, there is no clear way of me telling this here in a call. These are very highly subjective decisions. So if it's an early stage startup, the valuations that we sort of tend to go for go between, let's say, 2 to 8 million. But again, it's an assessment that I cannot give without looking much closer at the company. And ultimately, an MVP is something that gets the job done, right? There are low fidelity MVPs, high fidelity MVPs, so it's a subjective term, but something that gets the job done, and it's not just a prototype. It's already something that technically would be a scalable, application.
And there's a couple of follow-up questions that maybe go together with what you just talked about. Ahmed is also interested in knowing what is the form of this investing that you do and what is the average amount of shares you usually require in return. And Mario is wondering about the dilution of the pre-seed investments. So if you could just kind of, I know there's no one size fits all, but if you could roughly kind of like show the range.
Yes. So the starting point is for the earlier stage companies. So we theoretically can accept companies that do not have any MVP or traction, as long as there are two fully committed founders and a compelling business idea. Then that is a moment already where we can start talking. And at this point, we would apply our, let's say, standard terms, which would be a 50,000 euro investment, and that would be at a 2 million valuation, so 2.5%. Now, if you're a later stage company, then the valuations and the terms, obviously, they change, right? So yeah, just depends on where you stand, what the other investors think. Typically, we also, for the larger tickets, we don't lead these investment rounds, but we would follow. So in those cases, the valuation is defined already by the lead investor, and then what equity stake we go after will depend on the investment committee's decision.
Right, thank you very much, Uwe. This has been super useful and packed with information. There's a couple more questions that you can take a look in the Q&A and maybe answer in written format. But we are going to move on. We are going to do also a quick reminder that if you want to ask something from one of the panelists, then please post it in a Q&A section, not in the chat. I see there's a lot of things in chat, but if you want them to be answered by us, then please post them in the Q&A. I will introduce the next speaker. And the next speaker is Anne-Liisa from Tehnopol Startup Incubator. And actually, Tehnopol is probably the biggest like of all the accelerators and incubator programs from Estonia, because they run a selection of so many different programs. So welcome, Anne-Liisa, and happy to listen to you.
Yes, thank you, and thank you. Firstly, thank you all for joining, and thank you, e-Residency, for bringing work together for this webinar, as I can say. So, as mentioned, yes, I'm Anne-Liisa, head of Tehnopol Startup Incubator, and what I would like to clarify, yes, Tehnopol Startup Incubator is part of the Business and Science Park, and we are actually the largest in the Baltics. We have 3 founders. So our founders are, next slide, please. Founders are Estonian government, municipality of Tallinn, and one of the biggest universities in Estonia. It's a TalTech University, and we are the business campus. Yes, next slide, please. Business campus. So we are offering real estate services, so you can rent a place in here. So daily, we have up to 5,000 people in the campus area. So you can see the numbers on the slides as well. And we are offering additional to the startup incubator with early stage startups. So I assume in the call we have SMEs, maybe corporate representatives. So we can offer services from starting from the early stage startups up to like corporates. Yes, so the main purpose of me joining the webinar today is to introduce you the Startup Incubator. Yes, next slide, please. Yes, next one, please. Yes, So again, some numbers are popping up. So those numbers are based on the yearly numbers. So yearly, we are going through up to 1,000 different applications and working together. Since the programs, we are accepting up to 10 startups in the program. Can we have the previous slide, please? Yearly, we're working together with 100 up to 100 plus different startups. We have a pool of mentors, so those are also clearly selected and validated experts who have expertise area building a successful startup. They have been doing the business know-how. And yes, so we are providing mentoring service for those startups who have joined the program. Additional to the mentoring, we are arranging 100 different events in our campus area. So those are public events. We are doing a coffee morning, so building the community. You doesn't have to be joined in the Tehnopol Startup Incubator community, but you can come and visit and hear what we are actually doing and meet the like-minded persons in our campus area. Yes, next slide, please. So let me see. Yes. So some history as well. So we have been working more than 800,000 different startups. Our success rate is 60%. Of course, we want to have it 100%, but I think you all know the build the startup will not be always as successful as you would wish, but we are doing our best to have a bigger number in there. And this 40 million of investments, it's a first round investment. And also please keep in mind that those are the pre-seed investments, usually starting in Estonia, it's like 50K up to 300K euros. So how you are a perfect fit? So I saw already some questions regarding accelerator programs and so on. So what we are looking for is technology-based startups. You have more than idea, at least MVP, and of course, more than one person in your team. So I know to build a startup, it's a risky business. And of course, you cannot do it alone. So at least 2 person is like a checkpoint for us, 2 plus, it's even more. So, and of course, we are accepting startups in the program who have a company established in Estonia, and also all our programs are run on site. So welcome to relocate to Estonia. And the programs, what we are offering. So we have variety, we have different ones. So we have focus fields programs, so which are actually in defense and dual use. We are proud to say that we are of the Ülane Estonian accelerator. We are doing a defense pre-acceleration program. And Ülane Estonian accelerator is a dual use program. And the application period, the most probably will be opened in June. And we are doing a technology agnostics acceleration program. Today, actually, our 11th batch started. Next batch will be, application period will be open in August. Right now, we are accepting space startups into the program. So we are doing it together with the European Space Agency. So if we have here some space-related company startups, feel free to join us. And of course, for the other areas as well, we are running a film and multimedia accelerator. Application period will be open soon again. AI accelerator and cybersecurity accelerator, what we're actually doing together with the Estonian Information Authority. And happy to say that yesterday we got acceptance, and the accelerator will be, application period will be open soon. So already cybersecurity questions as well. So something for you as well. So what we do with all those startups who have joined our program. So We know building a startup is hard, and luckily we are here to help you. So to each startup who joins our program, we are assigning them a dedicated key mentor. So it means that during the program, you have a key mentor who is with you during the program. Our key mentors are actually daily life angel investors or VC fund founders. So they pretty much know everything what early stage startup has to do, where to go, when to do the stuff, how to prioritize, what to actually do. Of course, as mentioned in the beginning, we have expert mentor pool. So again, we try to avoid that our startups start Googling answers. Then we are supporting them with actual mentor support. Program usually is 6 up to 6 months altogether, like one year program. Workshops, seminars, and of course pitching sessions with investors, because our aim is that startups who are in the program will enter to the market or will gather their first investment rounds. And we have here in our campus area like this co-working area. All the startups who are joining the program can have the access to the co-working area. So they can work, have meetings in here. So it's like the community where you want to be. And we have asked from different partners in the market to have support offers, discount codes for those startups who have joined the program. So happily to share those kind of perks with all those startups who have joined the program. Yes, so it was my last slide. Yes, now it's coming. And if you want to know more, scan the QR code or just contact me. I can share the feedback and ready to answer questions.
Thank you very much, Anna-Liisa. We seem to have a little bit of a delay in me clicking the slide and you seeing it, so I apologize for that. But nevertheless, we have some questions for you. You said that the programs that you run are on site. Safa is asking, is online engagement also possible? And do you require physical presence in Estonia for founders? Their case is that one co-founder is in the EU and one is out of EU, and could they still fall under your scope?
Basically, right now I have to say no, but since the programs are divided during the 6 months, so basically the workshops, what we are asking from the startups is that somebody from the team should participate on site. All the other mentoring sessions can be done online. So it's basically need is 1 time per month to come to Estonia.
Mm-hmm. And Jose is asking about what the agnostic accelerator means exactly.
Yes, technology agnostic accelerator means that you have a technology-based startup idea. So, for example, if we are doing cybersecurity, then we are looking only for cybersecurity. But technology agnostic, you can be health, you can be AI, you can be the cybersecurity, you can be other subjects that maybe the other accelerator programs which are on the focus fields are closed, but then you can join the technology agnostic accelerator as well.
And then do you take equity in the startup that are accepted to the program?
Yes, only on the technology agnostic acceleration program we are taking equity. It's a share option 2% from the startup. With other programs, basically it's grant money, no equity, no strings attached towards us.
All right, let me see if there's anything else to Tehnopol. Looks like not. So thank you so much, Anna-Liisa, for sharing your knowledge about the startup ecosystem, sharing about your services that you can offer as support. Very impressive work that you are doing. And just to summarize, these kinds of seminars about what opportunities there are in Estonia, we do regularly. So watch out for the next one that we're going to probably do in May. as it coincides with the month that all startup founders in Estonia love the most, which is May. And May is the month of Latitude 59 conference. I also want to draw your attention to something that we have put together for the English-speaking founders. We have a funding portal on our e-Residency website as a sub-page. And this is the best English collection of all the opportunities in Estonia, starting from these accelerator programs that we have here as guests today, all the way to VC funds, to government grants, and all the like. So this is something that you can check out, and we are regularly updating this. We are adding new things as soon as they pop up, as soon as we find out about them. So definitely a great resource to keep an eye on. And then one more thing I would like you to mark on your calendars if you indeed are a startup founder and you're not 100% sure about what these people here are telling you. Can I really trust this sales guy Frank, and can I believe Uwe and Anneliisa about what they are saying about the programs and the ecosystem? Then we are going to host an ecosystem study trip. This is the group from last year. We had 43 foreign founders joining this tour, and this is going to happen one day before Latitude 59. Latitude 59 is Estonia's flagship tech conference, which is happening on May 22 and 23. And the event that we are organizing is one day before Latitude. So May 21st is when we are doing our ecosystem study trip. And everybody who is either already an e-resident founder or a foreign founder interested in e-residency and setting their business up in Estonia is welcome to join, although it is approval only. And we want you to send us a couple of sentences as a pitch about your business and your startup, so that we know that we are accepting the right kind of fit for the group. With all the participants together with our feedback email. So we're just about to basically close this webinar. We will send you an email asking for feedback to the speakers, to the topics today, and also you will receive the slides together with this. So thank you all for joining. We are really glad to have so many people listening today and so many interesting questions. And thank you to all the speakers and panelists today. So let's close this off, and I wish you all a really nice rest of the day.